Hey, welcome back. We've got a lot of work done on that TJ so far, and we've got a lot of work left to go, but it's time to shift gears a little bit and put our focus on this JK, man. Now, this thing, let's face it, it's a bit of a dog. We've got an easy way to pick it up, though, man, and that is with this Supercharger kit we got from the guys at Sprintex, man. It should really bring it to life.
Look at this box, man. It's like Christmas around here in the shop. I love it.
I like Christmas.
Ooh, look, there's a note. Matt, enjoy. Keep an eye on Bruno. Sprintex.
My reputation precedes me all the way to Australia.
All right, look at that. Instructions, pack and slip. Look at this. Oh, pow. Look at that. It's like I've been a good boy all year, and I'm finally getting a payoff for it.
Matt, I'm digging the unbridled enthusiasm, but you got to leave some of that stuff in the box because we got to get some of this stuff off before we can start putting it in.
Right.
Here. Hold on to this, man. One of the nice things about this Supercharger kit from Sprintex is it works with a lot of the factory stuff. You don't have to make any modifications to the hood, per se. You don't need a custom airbox or custom set of headers. It's all set up to work with the factory stuff. So not only does that save you a lot of money, but it saves you a lot of time and effort as well. Man, it's all inclusive.
It's going to sit right there.
I'm liking it. So with our intake manifold out of the way, now we have access to our fuel rail, which we need to pull out. Reason being is we need to upgrade our injectors, and we got a brand new set from Sprintex. They're going to be able to deliver more fuel so we can handle the more boost pressure and add to this engine. Now, one of the things we're going to have an issue with is some clearance, but you follow the directions, it tells you an easy fix. All we need to do is go ahead, once we get these new injectors in place, is we're going to take this fuel rail and we're going to take it and literally swap it around from front to back. So now this little fill line here will be on the back side. We'll have clearance for our new Supercharger, and we've all gone ahead and taken off the valve covers because you're going to take the left and switch it with the right. And there's a reason for that. This way, when we take this side valve cover, we put it on over here, we can still get to the oil fill and don't have to worry about any kind of clearance issues with our Supercharger. You gotta love the attention to detail here from the guys at Sprintex. Take the injectors, for instance. The old ones look a lot like the new ones, and at first glance, you might accidentally put one of the old ones back in. The way you know the difference is, well, the new ones have a little brown tab, the old ones have a green, so you can't make that mistake. All right, Matt, here you go.
All right, now this is the bread and butter of the whole operation right here, the Sprintex Supercharger. And you know what? This is the screw-type charger that's going to cram all the air down into that engine, and that's what's going to be responsible for our noticeable performance gains.
You know, the biggest thing we're after with this thing is to get that low-end torque. We want to move the torque curve down. Now, overall performance is great. We want more power and more torque overall, but you want to get it to a point where you need it, and that's usable. So if you look at the graph right here, now this is going to be our dyno sheet. Look at the torque curve. I mean, it pretty much goes straight up right at idle, and that's the whole idea. From idle to 1900 RPM, this thing is just going to jump off the ground, and that's the whole idea. This Jeep's been lacking that all along, and this Sprintex Supercharger is going to bring this thing right to life.
Now, if we're talking about real numbers, that's what is really impressive about the whole thing, is because at 1900 RPMs, you're going to have access to 90% of your usable torque. That is so cool. Now, think about it. In the stock configuration, you had 100% of your usable torque at 4150 RPM. Now, that's going to back down to 3150 with the new system in that. So all that usable torque is all coming in much earlier.
Yeah, it's great because we're getting that more torque, and we're getting more horsepower, but we're also getting a side benefit of getting an increased fuel economy. Now, if you're driving this thing down the highway, like you're going to have to do from time to time, right?
Yeah.
And you're running a bigger tire like most people who run a Jeep like this, you're going to get an increase in fuel mileage, and that's always a nice added little perk.
We need to go to break right now, but that'll give us a couple of minutes to button up a few loose ends right here, and then we can get back to work on your Jeep.
A minute or two we're going to need.
Maybe 3. It is always fun to come out and play once the work is done. This Sprintex Supercharger is a blast. I gotta tell you, this thing is dialed in. Now look, one thing to keep in mind, when you do a Supercharger, it needs to have the proper tune. Sprintex includes the Hypertech tuner that does everything the Hypertech tuners do, plus it loads the Supercharger tune. All right, man, we can't play all day. We've got to get back to the shop. We got one thing left on that TJ.